Samsung's latest flagship for 2024, the S24 Ultra, is officially available to pre-order. I think it comes out at the end of the month. We've had our unit for the last week. I've been testing out photos and videos as much as I can here. Weather's been kind of bad, but this is the front-facing camera. It's at 4K 30 frames per second. I want to know what you guys think of the audio and video quality for each device. Now we're on the iPhone 15 Pro Max. Of course, we got to pit it up against Apple's latest and greatest as well. That's the only fair comparison. But let me know what you guys think of the color profile, which one you prefer, of course, how the video and audio quality is down in those comments. And also, it's worth mentioning that a lot of this stuff is the only setting that I really change for video is just making sure it's 4K 30 frames per second. And then for photos, it's really just point and shoot, quick run and gun, see what you got, you know, what most people are probably going to do when they take photos and video. So again, throughout the video, let me know which phone you prefer. So you just saw the front-facing camera test. So now we have the rear-facing cameras here for both phones. The iPhone has kind of had the reign on video for a long time over other phones, in my opinion, but I think the closest competitor now is the Samsung Galaxy S24 Ultra. The video looks really, really good, but my biggest gripe is that you can only get 30 and 60 frames per second with 4K shooting, and I shoot all of my videos in 24 frames per second, and so having that option on my phone is important to me because I often integrate videos from my phone into the videos that I put up here on YouTube, and so I want to be able to have that consistency with the frame rates. You can, however, still shoot 8K on the S24 Ultra, which is always good for cropping in later without experiencing a ton of quality loss. Now, cinematic mode, which is called portrait video on S24. Both phones look really good, though Samsung seems to kind of overdo the blur quite a bit at times. Honestly, they both kind of go in and out of focus a lot. Good thing is you can tailor the blur effect on the S24 to your liking, something you cannot do on the iPhone, and so that's something to keep in mind. Both phones can also shoot cinematic mode at 1x, 2x, and 3x. Also with video recording, I've noticed that the mic quality on the S24 Ultra is crazy good. I think it's like a lot better than the iPhone. Maybe I'm crazy. You can let me know here. I'll put up a test. But really good clarity and incredible voice isolation. It's not the iPhone's mic quality that's bad by any means. It's just that Samsung's mics sound a lot better. But again, let me know in the comments down below. Here's a clip. All right, so it's pretty foggy out here, so we can kind of get an idea of what it's like in these conditions for video quality, but let's get an idea of what the mic quality sounds like, because I have done some testing and the S24 microphone is actually pretty insane. It's really good at isolating the voices, and so there's a lot of squawking seagulls going on out here and just some generic background low hum. So let's see which phone does a better job at isolating my voice and picking up my voice over the background noise. So let me know in the comments what you guys think. And yeah, I'm pretty sure it's going to go to the S24 for my earlier test because it just sounds really, really good. So when it comes to still photos, again, it's always point and shoot for my videos because that's how I use my camera. I don't ever like go into crazy settings or shoot in RAW or whatever, at least when it comes to photos. And so it's always just take your phone out, snap the photo, and be on your way. And so this is how I feel most average consumers, and again, including myself, use their phones and their cameras. And I think both phones are honestly pretty much equal, at least in terms of quality. I know that's a cop-out answer, but again, it's 2024. These are very expensive phones, the highest of each brand, and it's the highest quality hardware. So it should be expected that there's like, you know, a very small degree of difference between these photos. Now, sometimes the S24 will look better to me, and other times the iPhone's images will look better. They both definitely have different color profiles and the way the photos look in terms of vibrancy, saturation, and all of that. So you could have a totally strong personal preference, but it's really going to be hard for me to listen to an argument where someone will say, this photo is sharper and clearer than this one. Unless I took the photo poorly, I think they both hardware-wise look just as good. But again, there is a difference in the way it looks. And so the S24 Ultra seems to saturate a bit more, as well as crank those highlights in certain situations. So pictures just oftentimes will feel and look a lot brighter. Sometimes it overdoes it when it comes to the sun and the way the clouds look. It might be overexposed just a little bit. And then that's where you can kind of point saying, you know, this phone does a little bit better than this one. But overall, I really don't have a strong preference when it comes to either or. Sometimes I like that oversaturated look, and so I'll again go with the S24. but oftentimes I find myself liking the iPhone. And this look carries over to night mode photos, but honestly, I think I prefer the images a lot more coming out of the S24 because it is brighter. It does a better job of boosting those highlights and being able to see that subject easily. I think the iPhone tries to go a little bit too natural sometimes, and the photo is maybe a little crispier, which is good, but overall, I think the actual focus of the image is just a lot brighter and easier to see on the S24. But I am curious to hear your thoughts on these low light photos and videos. Now, also, this will apply to portrait mode photos. The profile, the way things look will kind of carry over. Nothing really changes. I will say that whatever photo does the best job at processing and separating the subject from the background is usually the one I ended up preferring, which, you know, makes sense. So primarily I'll look at when it's a person, the hair strands. That's where things usually get messed up a little bit. And I feel like both phones really did a good job. You can see this picture here of my wife. It looks like it handled both phones really, really well in terms of that processing and the subject separation. The 5x telephoto lens is usually the best lens for portraits in my opinion, and I love both 5x telephoto lenses here on each phone. And so they are stellar for these portrait photos and just regular photos as well. But really good to get those longer range, crispier photos. So let me know again in the comments down below which one you prefer. I'm just kind of torn, honestly. Now, one area where Samsung does have a pretty clear improvement, but the iPhone is honestly catching up with its digital processing, is these higher ranges. So 5x, 10x, you can even do 30x and 100x. I believe the iPhone tops out at 25. I can check this right now just to be sure, but I'm almost positive it is, yeah, 25x. But you can go 30x and 100. You can see here that after you get past 30, the photos become quite unusable, but it's actually pretty crazy that with the S24, that you can famously go all the way up to 100x. And again, while most photos are not usable, it's pretty crazy that in some instances you can actually make out what it is you're looking at. So here, the ship, it's got text written out. I can still pretty much figure out what it is that I'm looking at and read that text. And that's insane to like go from that 0.5 or 0.6x and then go all the way to 100 and just see how much ground you're covering with a phone that you carry around in your pocket. I think we all take it for granted sometimes, but it's pretty crazy that you can actually do that. So yeah, overall, I am very happy with what I see on the S24 Ultra. I think it's pretty much right up there with the iPhone 15 Pro Max. It's going to come down to the preference, the color profile, what you prefer. I had a lot of split decisions at times for each photo and video. It could go either way, but there are tons of other features that Samsung offers with its cameras that could end up swaying you depending on what you think of these software AI features. So some of those really cool photo and video editing AI features that Samsung has to offer include turning any video into slow motion. So you just simply tap and hold on the part of the video while it's playing that you want to turn into slow motion, and then you go into the adjustments of the speeds, and it already have that point kind of mapped out, the start and end point in which you were pressing and holding, and then you can adjust if you want to go to like half speed, a quarter speed, and it's pretty crazy. It'll actually use AI to generate additional frames to make all of that work so that it actually looks like a slow motion video. There's generative edit, which you can erase any reflections or remove objects, move things around, take things from other photos and add them in. It's really cool. There's also generative fill for images, so a lot like Photoshop. If you have a nice shot, but you want to fill in some more detail, this is really good with like outdoor landscapey photos. You can basically zoom it out a little bit, and then you'll see like that transparent background is there, and that means like there's nothing there, but generative AI will actually fill the missing part of that image. And so you work with it a little bit, hit generate, and it'll give you so much more detail to your photos that you didn't already have. And so, yeah, those are some of the AI photo and video editing features that you can do with the S24 Ultra that you can't really do on the iPhone. Maybe there are some third-party apps that you can install, but this is all first-party across the entire operating system and on the phone. And so that's really, really cool to have. And something that I wish Apple will hopefully be taking seriously in 2024 with iOS 18, which all signs kind of point to more AI features coming. And so, yeah, I would love to hear from you in the comments down below. What do you think of both cameras on each phone? Let me know down in those comments. This has been Dan with Mac Rumors. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope to see you around in the next video.